What's up, guys? It's Black and bringing you some more RA content. Today we got the best of 11 series between me and Fazzar. It was really good series, and I think there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about. First thing I want to get out of the way is talking about like preparedness before you even start the series yourself. You should be warming up, nothing too complicated. If you want to play against players, that's fine, or you could just do like your build order in like a scrimmage game. Unfortunately for this series, the master servers were down like right before we started, so I wasn't able to do like a warm up against players, which is what I prefer. But that's all right, because it kind of leads into the next thing I want to talk about, which is like map awareness and knowing like what maps might be played. Since Caution picked the meme map Pooper Bowl last series against Mint, I thought he might do something similar here, and my choices were Duel or the 4 nukes map. And I decided to kind of warm up on 4 nukes and kind of get an understanding of how that map plays out. So I did it a little bit with both factions just to kind of see what their timings were, and came to the conclusion that Soviets are definitely better on that. So I was hoping that when that map came up, if it came up, that I would draw Soviets just because they have much better advantages than the Allies do on that map. And I know Fazzar always plays Germany, so he's going to be handicapped if he does have to play that map. So knowing that type of stuff is like really important. And that kind of leads into the last thing, which is knowing your opponent and his tendencies or their playstyle. I don't have too much experience with Fazzar. I've played him twice on ladder before the series. I've played him in a few like team games, but I don't really count those. So he's kind of unknown, and all I have to go on is like what I've seen from replays of him against other players when I've shotcasted him, or just people generally talking about him. I'd say he's definitely a very aggressive player, and that's going to kind of feed into my strategy of trying to out-aggressive him, which is almost sounds funny to say, but if I can keep him on the defensive foot because I'm being more aggressive, then he's going to be worse off than if he were playing constantly aggressive on me, which, it's just something to consider. He's also not like a big techer like Mint was, so I don't have to worry necessarily about 4-minute Blackhawks or something like the Mint might do. It's still always a possibility that they do something like that, or you got to watch out for the all-in stuff like that. But generally, he plays 1.5. He's not super hard on deathballing or not super hard on splitting. Can kind of do both depending on the situation. So my scouting will definitely have to be more constant than it was against Mint. And that's pretty much it. I mean, he should have an understanding of my game style and my tendencies and my weaknesses and stuff like that. So with that said, let's get into this game. So we're playing on Paradisio, and I spawned on the bottom right. Nothing too crazy about this map. It's a 45-degree split map, so there's like no like weird rotation where you're on like more than half of the other. You're really close to the opponent. You're kind of split on the map in 50-50. There is ore mine in the bottom left that does bisect through the middle. So it's kind of, if you can hold that, and then you always have the advantage. But generally, the way I've seen this map play out is it doesn't last very long. So I'm going to just snag my first oil first with the engineer first, because it's right there. I might as well get that extra income while I can. And then my whole kind of strategy is to kind of ignore that third oil derrick up in the top between us. It's going to be beneficial later, but I feel like a lot of players will just abandon their oil, and if Fozzie does that, then I can just go and cap it myself and hold on to it for a little while. It's not something that I'm going to retain forever, but it is going to be nice and just give me a little extra income if I can have, that 2-to-1 oil advantage for just, a minute or two. I'm not going to do my double Warfact or my double ref cell on this map just because of the way the ore is. I know a lot of the times your hearts just tend to jump around from mine to mine since they are super close. So I want those extra refs just to kind of inhibit that a little bit. Fozzie scouted me early on with a rifle, and I think I managed to kill it, but I'm already moving out to secure his oil. I'm gonna make sure I come from the flank. I don't want to use that oil advantage, or don't want to let him use that oil advantage. Sorry, I'm a little congested, so it's even more of a struggle than it normally is for me to talk. So I'm coming around the flank here. I've got a decent concave. See, he's got a 5-stack there, which is fine. I cleared that. I don't think I lost a single rifle there, which is really good. I'm going to go ahead and start capping this. Move all of my rifles so they're like pretty close to my engineer. I don't want it to be surprised by any angle. And I send the one up towards his ore patch in case he tries to quickly reinforce with something out of his barracks. At the same time, I got a 5-stack on my backside just to make sure there's nothing funny business coming through my veins, since I don't know where his rifle army is. And he could try to do like an early power plant sniper like that. I'm also not going to sit around his oil derrick that I just captured for so long. I have rockets now, but if he'd gone with like an early light tank, you know, still probably would have lost that whole army, and I try not to lose something like that. It's not a huge deal if you lose your early army, but it does make things more complicated later on. And I'm going to be more of like a eco-greedy build here. I'm not building an early light vehicle. I'm just kind of content to rest on that winning of his first oil derrick. Also spotted that he did capture that oil derrick right now, so it is 2-1. I tried to go in and scout with that one rifle, but it instantly got picked off. At the same time, he's come back to secure his oil derrick, and that's fine. Like I said, I just wanted to hold on to it for a little bit. My scouts up there are dying. I think he had a ranger over there, so I'm just going to pull all my stuff back to my base for now. If he wants to contest my oil derrick, I can sit right there and I'll be fine. Got my 4 harvs out now, so I'm going to start my infantry projection. Could have started a little bit sooner since I was floating about 1400, but that's fine. Now that my ranger's out, I'm going to be a little bit more mobile with my army and I can move everything together. I just want to see if he still has anything else by that arrow derrick. A lot of times people will leave like 1 or 2 rifles, so you can just use 2 to take it. And if he is empty there, then I'm going to try to capture it with my engineer. Saw his ranger and he saw mine, so I was kind of just waiting for my army to get more grouped before I pushed in. Looks like he's retreated all the way back, which means I'm just going to kill his oil derrick, which is going to bring us back to that even footing. And you see he's trying to defend it a little bit, but I scouted forward with my ranger, so his oil derrick's going to go down. I'm going to pull my medic back so I don't sacrifice it to the oil gods. Then once again, I'm going to go medium tank first, and I wanted to really just move my Conure just to the right, just by my barracks, so I could reach over that little forward. Unfortunately, the way I place that power plant means that I don't have the build radius, so in about a minute when I try to build a ref, I'm going to realize that I have to move my MCV again, which is not the worst thing in the world, just kind of sucks a little bit. Slowed my eco down a little bit. And as you can see, I'm already doing like a pretty heavy split here, almost 50-50. My army on my left is kind of lightly armored with just the light tank and the ranger right now. But the more medium tanks that come out are going to reinforce it over there. At the same time, that army that split off and went to the north is really heavy on rockets. It's got like a 1-to-1 ratio between rifles and rockets, so that's going to be like a harvester hunter, maybe a building hunter if I find something like the Conure. And then I just realized that I can't build across the ford, so I'm just going to move my MCV again. Which, again, you know, not super big, just I'm probably down 1 refinery at this rate. I wanted to make sure I stayed out of that vision radius with my squad on the north, just because I didn't want him to see it coming at all. I saw that his ranger was kind of floating by my ranger and keeping an eye on me there, so. And then he had a rifle scout there, so I decided to pull my northern army away for a little while, just let him forget about it. At the same time, I'm using my ranger just to kind of scout, make sure he's not coming through the middle, since that is a very quick way to go about the space. Killing his rifle scouts whenever he sends them, which is really nice. That's keeping him in the dark. The only scouting he's going to get is from his ranger. At the same time, moving that army in the north, getting in position. I see more army scouts. I was curious if maybe he was sending like a really big flank already, and that was like stragglers, but I don't think so, and so I decided to move in. Fortunately, I have a really bad engagement there. My tanks are all in the back, and I have to pull back. At the same time, I'm struggling with my harvest because of the way that the ore mines are on this map. I see his ranger, and I kill it, that's fine, and I get a decent position here. That one tank got a little far forward, and it died quickly. Trying to move my other one in. At the same time, I just killed 2 harvesters at the top, so that's a really good get. I'll happily take that trade. I might be down in army value now, but with some good defense and some pillboxes, I should be able to defend it rather easily. Managed to cap that oil derrick in the center, which is good. He's got a turnover here. I'm just going to pull that medium tank back, let my rockets actually tank the turret fire, and it's going to go down rather quickly. Then he makes the wise decision to pack up and leave. If he stays, then MCV is definitely going to die because of the rock density I have. And I can't kill the harvester since he pulled that too, but that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and kill the refiner. That's going to slow him down a little bit more. Decided to fight into this a little bit, but I saw that he had 2 tanks, so I wanted to just try to pull that tank away. You know, that army's kind of served its purpose now. And I see he has 2 medics here, and medics are slower than rifles and rockets and tanks. So I assumed that it was just bad pathing on their part, and he already had the army past me. That's why I rally everything back down. At the same time, I'm just trying to keep an eye on the rest of the map with the ranger. And now that I saw his tanks, I definitely know that he has an army there. This is something that I call like an X flank. This is like a really deep flank with a whole lot of army. and I don't really recommend it. I don't think it's a great move in 1v1s. The time it takes for that army to get in place is just further time for me to either be attacking somewhere where your army's not, or just reinforce with a bigger army and then just kind of completely wipe you like I am right here. He traded pretty badly there. I think I really only lost like a few infantry and a few tanks, where he lost the bulk of his army. So I'm definitely way ahead in army value now. Somehow this squad's still alive, so I go ahead and rally it back to where his harvesters are likely at. Try to repair my tanks, which is always good. I'm just keeping an eye on my infantry queues, making sure they're going good. Still haven't seen anything scouting through with the ranger in the middle, which is nice. It means he's either focused on the bottom left like I am, or he just doesn't have the army since I just killed it. You know, so that tank that was driving through my backyard, so I rally some rocket soldiers over there and a pillbox just to be sure. And up in the north I can see I'm attacking his harvesters again. Sell that ref because I don't need it. Gets me back in good power. Now I have a pretty big army in the bottom. I'm going to start another split off under my main right there. I wasn't sure if I got the tank or not, but I just pulled those rockets and everything away because I wanted a bigger army. Fortunately, did not get the harvester there. It managed to get the crush off on all those. I don't think I would have got it anyways since he had other units there, but it would have been nice if I got that harvester pickup. See his little rifle scout there. That's fine. I'm just going to go kill it with my ranger. I'm just going to scout around the back of my base, make sure there's nothing hitting there with the ranger. Same time, trying to get these tanks in position. They're really struggling for some reason. And I'm kind of stalling out a little bit. As soon as I fix my eco, I think I have another refinery coming down on the bottom. I should be fine. Once again, those tanks are just a little stubborn. Don't want to get in the front. Finally get in the front, which is good because there's a pillbox right there to have a really good engagement here. I push in, see he doesn't have any tanks, so I'm just going to keep pushing, and he instantly packs up the NCV, which means he doesn't have anything else in this area. So I just want to push as far as I can. I see he has a big army right there. I go ahead and retreat. You know, I should have enough there with the tanks and the pillboxes. And now at this time, I'm just going to decide to split that army and hit him in the back and hit him in his ore field if I can. Fortunately, I did not get the tank, and I finally saw it, and he killed 2 harvesters. That's okay. I'm allies. I'm just going to build some mechanics, and I should be fine. Move that tank in front. Have those guys reinforced since they're finished killing the buildings, and I see 3 harvesters there. Great. Same time, I'm going to move out that other backup flank that I have. Still killing his harvesters. Already got 1 down, 2 down. Then he starts to move in. At the same time, I'm killing his MCV, which is really good, so I'm really content just to let that army on his ore field die. I've already killed his MCV. I'm getting a harvester up there on the top. And again, it looks like I might get a second harvester too. So that's perfect. And that's really hurting his eco. That's a lot of harvesters I've killed this game where he's just kind of been on the back foot the entire time. So that's going exactly to my game plan. And then I got this other big flank in the top. Move into engage right here. See he has 2 medium tanks. I'm just going to back out a little bit. Try to retreat that army away since I don't want it as close to this one when it hits. That way he can't just easily bounce between them. And then I've got my 3rd flank going on. So I'm really all over the place this game. This is going really well for me. Kill another harvester there. Still have a ranger from the beginning, so that's always really good to see unit retention like that. And I'm on tier 2 right now, and he's going to try to push in with no tanks or anything. And this is, you know, this is kind of like a desperate flail at the very end. And he instantly calls the GG when he sees that I have enough armor presence there. So that game went pretty much exactly how I wanted it to. I kept him on the back foot the entire time. He was a little careless with his harvesters, and I think that's what kind of cost him. I'm sure the eco graph was very heavily skewed in my favor. And just keeping that ranger alive was really good on me. It allowed me to instantly scout him everywhere, and that was it. That was game 1. So let's bounce to game 2. All right, so we're back here in game 2. This map is going to be the almighty petrodollar, which we're going to see in just a second here. I don't think it's a great map. I don't think it's held up to the standard of time that like some other maps have done in the past. This map was easily probably like a 2016, maybe 2017 map. So maps that are over 5 years old tend to not play as well as newer maps, and that's just because the meta has evolved and we've gotten a lot better as game players ourselves. So I just spawned as Russia on this map, and as you can see, it's extremely choky, and there's not a whole lot of eco actually. There's no double mines outside your main. There is a lot of oils, but those tend to quickly die like oils do. So I'm just going to be a little bit, you know, off meta on this, and I'm going to play like a double dog opener to see if I can capture an engineer or two. Just to, you know, kind of keep him on the back foot again. That's kind of my overarching strategy, is just to not let Fozzie be aggressive. At the same time, I'm just going to go engineer first, because that oil is very close to me and I want to get that extra income as I can. Having as many oils as you can on this map for as long as you can is really good. As you can see, I'm target firing my own dog because dogs run faster when they have a target, and I just want the second dog to be caught up to my first one a little bit, just in case there is rifles that I run into. Like 2 rifles and an engineer is not enough to protect against 2 dogs. The dog should win, just even on attack move alone, but if you target fire, that's even better. Sometimes if you target fire a rifle with a dog, you'll just straight up eat it before the rifle can shoot. So that's always something to be aware of. Dogs are really good as Soviets, not just because of the vision they have, but because of their ability to do stuff like I'm doing now. As you can see, he doesn't have an engineer over there, so I'm rallying that second dog back. And then I kind of give it a cued order as soon as I feel like it's safe to sprint back to my guys. On this map, I am going to do my double ref cell, just because there is low equal and I don't really need that third ref as much as I would on like the last map or some other map. You know that I'm not doing anything too crazy. This map is, since it is choky, tier 2 is going to be king on this map, and tier 1.5 is definitely going to hurt a little bit. But I finally found his engineer, instantly got it, and I'm just going to move that dog away just in case he has rifles nearby. Same time, I'm trying to just position myself to that third oil derrick, since that's equally likely that he's going there as it is for mine, since it does open towards him and not towards me. Unfortunately, my dog dies. I don't know if he saw it with his own dog or something like that. He shouldn't, because I should know that he's allies, but I don't really remember that off the top of my head when I think about games. It's something I have to like consciously remember. It's like, oh yeah, they pick allies. I'm so used to people just playing any. I'm killing the barrels just in case he has anything hidden up there. I'm just gonna casually bring that other dog in for vision support if I need to. Got my ore factory out, and I'm just doing harvesters first because I'm not trying to do anything extra aggressive. I did build some grenadiers just for some light harassment, because again, I'm just trying to keep him on his toes as much as possible. Unfortunately, I tried to move those rifles away and he had a lot of units there and I lost a whole lot, so that army's kind of trapped there now. I can't move that engineer out. It's going to have to sit behind that oil derrick, and I don't really have anything coming for a while to get those guys out of there. I see a second engineer and I eat that one too, so that's a very good doggo, very good boy. I'm very happy about that. Got these engineers coming in, and it's likely that he used a power plant to expand here, or he already had it in originally, and I find it, which is nice. I see his ref go down, so now he's over there too. He's about the same time as me. Actually looks like he's a little bit ahead just because I'm microing these grenadiers. But I just do some scouting with him, and I expect him to have more units there. And they die. I try to snipe the rocket out, which unfortunately it lives because it had a medic and everything. But I finally placed down my third ref, so now I'm up to 5 harvesters. See him coming in with the ranger. I mean, that's fine. He's just trying to scout me, but he ran right into my rockets and rifles and instantly died. So it's a little bad on his part. He should have been paying attention more to rangers like that, since they do quickly die. And I mean, I'm guilty of it as well. I did it against Mint, and I've done it against other players in the past too. So I'm just keeping that dog around just in case he wants to go for a third engineer. The more engineers you kill, like, the more demoralizing it is and the more frustrating it is. I see that he rolls in with a light tank, and I know those guys are forfeit, so I'm just going to try to save that engineer and put him into the oil derrick to keep that oil derrick alive a little bit longer. Unfortunately, he had a bunch of rifles and it died. Once again, I'm going to go tank first on this one just because there's really only 2 places to expand to. It's the one in the north right there, and then the 2 mines to the south, and that's kind of like your split of the map. I'm trying to slowly poke in with this army because I see that he did have a light tank there, and I have enough to take it with the ABC and the flak, and catching these medics was really nice, but I still have to be very careful because I know he does have his own rockets and everything. This ABC gets a little too far ahead, so I try to pull it back just a little bit. Once again, just a little too far ahead, and I'm just trying to use the advantage since I don't know where his light tank is. I see his light tank, so I target fire it, and then I just go in for some crush with my APC. Unfortunately, I killed my own APC there, but that's okay. I think I still won that engagement pretty handedly. I saw his engineer in the back, so I brought the dog back over for another snack because he has been hungry again. And there we go, 3 kills with that dog. That's probably one of the best dogs I've had in a long time. The Sterling Grenadier was still alive, so I decided just to poke at his ref, keep him more distracted. My MCV is coming out. I accidentally queued 25, but that's okay. I'm just going to priority queue some heavy tanks, and then once those are done, I'm just going to clear out the MCVs. Second MCV is out, and I'm already transferring my eco harvs a little bit late. That's just because I had to move out the mid MC rather than build, but that's fine. By the time they get there, that ref's gonna be up. Place the ref. I got my other MCV down, so I'm building at, you know, the increased build speed. Seeing if he wants a 5th engineer or 4th engineer. It's so many engineers I've actually lost count now. I think it'd be 4th. Gonna move that army down. Built another engineer just to see if I could, you know, sneak away with that oil derrick in the back, since oil derricks kind of are important eco-wise on this game. See that he hasn't taken the comm center down there too, which is good to know. It means he's probably more focused on the north. I'm just kind of poking the dog in slowly. See that he has a rifle scout there. That's fine. I also caught like the tail end of a medium tank down there. So I'm going to push in because I got a pretty big army right there. And I'm just going to slowly crawl to the next ore patch. I'm already going tier 2. Unfortunately, my engineer was a really expensive scout there and I saw that he was coming there. That's fine. I got enough army there that I should be able to deal with stuff. But at the same time, you can already see how much I'm struggling with just my tier 1.5 maneuvering around these cliffs. He's got quite the big army there, but I got decent flame micro. So I'm going to kill a lot of his infantry, and he's going to lose his tanks, which should be fine. I pull the harvesters back in for a little extra tanking power, and I'm trying to move that army to counterattack at the bottom. He's going to get the one harvester right there, but I think he lost a lot to do that. And so that was kind of not a great attack on his part. And now I'm going to take that army since I killed up there and just kind of counterattack somewhere else. I got decent positioning here. And I try to scoot down and see if he's at that ore patch, but it doesn't look like he is, which is actually unfortunate for me. That should have been Q to rally everything to the north. Unfortunately, I decided to pull that army in the bottom back, so I was worried about my MCV. I'm attacking here in the north. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of rocket density here, and these medium or heavy tanks are actually going to go down rather quickly. And once those go down, like that's pretty much the end of that army. I don't have enough to kill that last pillbox. So now I'm finally realizing I should pull everything to the north. And then once again, I kind of second guess myself and decide to kill his oil derricks off. I do have radar out and I'm going straight to tier 3, I'm pretty sure, which I think was a mistake. I should have just stayed on tier 2. Like I said, tier 2 is definitely way better. And honestly, Tesla tanks on this map are not going to be that great. They're going to be cool to be shooting over the cliffs and the rocks are in walls and everything like that, but the mobility of air is going to be a huge deal. So I'm trying to scout and make sure he's not expanding to the bottom, since there isn't a whole lot of eco on here and I have my half of the map and I'm kind of keeping him on his less than half of the map. Killed all his oil derricks, which is just going to hurt his eco a little bit. And then I got my tech center out. Once my tech center's out, I'm going to try switching to Tesla tanks, especially since that Tesla coils out. Cancel my V2s. Then I accidentally restart my V2s. But as you can see here, he's got tier 2 out, and he had some really, really good arty hits. That whole army pretty much died, in part because of the pathing and the tanks were stuck in the back behind, but also just because he had really good positioning. So I'm actually really bad. I was definitely ahead before this because I had, you know, 2 really good engagements, and now he just pretty much cleaned my army for free. So it's been a wild swing in army values and stuff like that, and he's way ahead of me now. Even though I'm on tier 3 and he's probably on tier 2, it doesn't matter. He's crushing through this base because I don't have any army there left. Now I'm trying to reinforce to the top, try to catch these arties since they're the big deal. But he has so much army that he can just kind of retreat and wait it out. I already got my Shockies in tier 3 coming out, and I get that Icy out, which could be good later on. But as you can see, he's here. He's got really good Blackhawks, snipes out a lot of my infantry corps. He's even getting most of the rockets there. I got one Tesla tank in the back for that tank. But I'm still managed to lose all that army again, so I don't have really any army right now. I have one Tesla tank and 4 Shockies, 5 Shockies. Fortunately, that tank in the top got out, and I saw it, and I thought that the Tesla tank coming out of the war factory would kill it. That was a bad assumption on my part. I should have just moved it away and hunted down that tank. And now that I don't have any army again, he's just counterattack where I'm not, and my army's going to take forever to get there. I have a lot of defenses there, so I should be able to hold fine for now, but that, you know, that's like half my eco is just sitting there idle right now. Shockies are pretty good they have more range than standard rifle, and I see that he's tier 3 in Tanya now. I mean, I got Tesla tech, so Tanya's not that great. But once again, I don't have any answer to these Blackhawks. I'm trying to build some flags just to deal with them, but I'm in really bad shapes right now. Kill one Blackhawk is fine. I'm going to lose the MCV, which is not great at all. I really need that MCV. And then he's just kind of camping over on top. He's kind of all over the place right now. So I don't really have an answer to this. I'm losing a Harvester because that one tank again that I completely forgot about. I'm going to poke with the flag. So there's a good chance that I'm just going to lose that second Harvester because flags take forever to kill armor. Lost another Harvester in the north. And nothing is really going in my game right now. I finally killed that tank in the back. Harvester almost died. He's pushing into the north. I don't have really enough to stop it. This one flame tower might make the difference there, but you know, once again, he's going to come in with the Blackhawks. There goes all my Shockies. And there's an artillery bomb in there, so I know I'm done. That's just kind of the nature of this map. Like I said, I should have known that this map was tier 2, and I did actually know that. I don't know why I decided to try to go tier 3 instantly and just stay on tier 2. This map is very heavily skewed in the Allies' favor. Like testicles are great if you can use some walls on this map and really choke it off, but just the rate of fire on artillery makes such a huge difference. Like, they're way better than V2s in this scenario. So this map was just not going well for me in any way, other than that early game with the dog. So well played by Fozzie. I don't want to sound like I'm salty and diminishing that. Like, he got a little behind with my, you know, those 2 good engagements, and then all it took was that one engagement for him to just lay on the pressure and never let up. So that was good play by him, and we'll jump into the next game. Alright, so we're back here in game 3 now that we know that it's not going to be a sweep by either side since Fozzie evened it up after the last game. This is a good time to talk about like series momentum and game momentum. So series momentum is going to be like how you're feeling about the whole series as a whole. You know, if you're down 4-0, you might be under more pressure to try to get back and even things up, and you're worried about losing the whole series, so you're probably going to like feel extra pressured when you make a mistake, and it might be spiraling out of control, and you're going to start making more and more as that happens. So it's really important that you kind of reset yourself between games, and then you have individual game momentum, which can swing wildly between battle and battle. You know, you can have really good opening like I did on the last game, get a dog that has like 4 or 5 engineers as a snack, and then one engagement by Fozzie with some artillery just kind of completely shifts the momentum of the game. So that's a little bit out of your control, how that momentum shifts in a game, but you can kind of keep it in check by, you know, doing the right things and staying smart on your decision-making processes. So this map is Desert Strike, which I'm not a huge fan of. It's an okay map. Its biggest problem is when players expand the same direction as each other. So in like this case, if I go down and Fozzie goes right, usually what happens after that is both players base push into each other, and whoever wins that tends to push the other player off the eco there. And since the only other place for eco is on the other side, your opponent will just hit you on your other side, and you can't ever really reestablish that eco, and you just kind of lose. So there's definitely better maps than this. If players expand the opposite direction of each other, then it actually works out okay. But that's just typically how this game plays out for whatever reason, is we always expand into each other. So I'm not doing anything too fancy on this game. I'm going to go engineer first into the rifles. It looks like Fozzie went rifles first and try to poke at that engineer. It's actually very hard to kill the engineer early on this map just because of where the oil derricks are located, and that cliffs in the middle really chalk up anything to not allow that to happen. I'm not going medic this time, and I don't think I'm going to do my ref still just because the ore mines are a little spread out here. But that's okay. My goal here is just kind of, once again, reestablish being overly aggressive against Fozzie. I'm going to use these rifles to just kind of flank around, maybe see if I can catch some rockets early, and then kill his oil derrick. My engineer, I decide at this rate, I'm just going to park it in this back of his base and see if I can capture anything later. So I'm just kind of setting up my rifles here just to get a flank. And then I see a medic right there, and I go, oh, okay, that's a good grab. I'll kill a medic, and I see another medic, and I'm like, okay, great. And then I see a little bit of his army, not a whole lot, but you know, 4 or 5 rifles for free, which is great. I tried to do a little force fire to see if there was actually more there, but there wasn't. Unfortunately, I don't know why my force fire was forcing me not to target the barrel. That was a little weird. Then I see some more of his army, and I don't think I've lost a single rifle yet, maybe one. And I've killed like, you know, 6 or 7 of his rifles, which is great. And now that I kind of know that I have that advantage, I'm actually switching up my tactics entirely on this map. I'm going to go with some really, really early pressure, light tank and ranger combo before I even build another Harv. And once his oil derrick's down, I'm just going to retreat those armies for now until I get the Rangers for extra vision. And then I realized, if I'm going to do this early pressure with my light tank and ranger, I might as well try to incorporate my engineer in it. So I'm going to do something that's like I haven't seen in a long time, and that's use my engineer to break up his defense placing ability and while I'm capping his MCV. It shouldn't work. He should be obviously watching his main base because that's where the focus is going to be, but if I can manage to like delay that pillbox from coming down for another 5 seconds, maybe that's a harvester I kill or a barracks or something like that I can do, and then once that pillbox gets placed, I can retreat that army out. So that's kind of my game process and thought process now. And then on the back end, I'm just doing the standard build order, trying to macro and take care of my harvest as much as possible. So I'm scanning in with my ranger. I don't really see anything there yet. Starting to position my engineer. Even got everything hotkeyed, so I'm really ready to go. Push in and I see a barracks, and I'm like, alright, cool, that might be his only one. I'm gonna kill that. I kill his engineer just fine, and now I'm capping his MCV. I got my ranger down there to protect him in case he sells anything. See that one rifle be built there. My light tank's in really good position. He doesn't have a whole lot of rockets, and his one rocket goes down. And unfortunately for him, he's not really paying attention, and I capped his MCV, and that's game. I'm not sure why he didn't see it or what his thought process was there behind the game, but he GG's out because he knows it's over. I know that his ranger was out scouting in the north, which was fine, but I don't know how he missed an engineer, so that's really unfortunate for him. And that's kind of going back to what I said about like wild momentum swings. Like that right there was a huge momentum swing at the end of the game. As a series though, like it's gonna have a little bit of impact because that's probably a little bit demoralizing to have that happen to you. But you should just be able to step back from that and go, it really wasn't that big of a deal. It's just kind of a lucky grab on my end. So let's go to the next game. All right, so we're back in game 4. The series momentum is probably a little bit on my side, just by the nature of the way that last game went. Nothing too super serious still. I'm only up 2-1 right now. If Fazzar can even this out, then all that series momentum I have is going to go back away. So that's kind of his goal here, is just kind of play careful, play cautious, and win this map. Once again, we're on the long night, and I think I have Ukraine. My opinion on this map hasn't changed. It's control the middle, control the game. That's going to dictate my plan again. I am going to go with a kennel opener again, just because Soviets are super good with dogs. I'm kind of expecting him to go towards the bottom oil derrick, and that's why I want to pressure this bottom oil derrick first with my dog. If I can get some early good wins there, then that'll just help out with the rest of the game. So I'm going to build 4 rifles before my dog, and that's just because then you get that good 5 stack, and usually if you do it right, your 4th rifle will be coming out right as your kennel gets built, so you can just kind of naturally queue into that. I was a little bit messed up on my queuing timings and everything, so it came out a little bit weird, but that's fine. After that, I'm going to go into engineer, and then I'm going to rally the rest of my forces over to the other derrick, so I'm going to plan on taking that early too. So that he's not coming there yet, so he's definitely going to the other derrick, and that's fine. I'll just be able to capture this one in peace and then attack him on the other oil derrick. Kind of made a bad mistake here, and that's the going to this bottom ore patch first. I think it has less ore than the top one, and it's going to make me stall out a little bit later. It's not going to be a huge deal or game breaker, but it's just going to be something that I should be smarter about. I'm going to target fire my own rifles so the dog gets over there quicker, and then once it's kind of close enough, I'm going to stop it because I don't want it to accidentally eat my own rifle. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how exactly he saw my dog there. That was kind of weird. I think it was just he was right on the cusp of vision and managed to see it, so losing that dog makes me have to back up. I already lost a few rifles there, so that was a good early engagement by Fazzar. And I'm just kind of trying to fix my harv. I don't need that refinery, so I'm just going to go ahead and sell it. The only other thing I could be doing right now is just trying to scout him and see if he's doing anything special, but I don't really have any reason to do that right now. I'm just going to keep all my stuff nice and neat, close together. I don't have any reason to push out right now. I don't have any rockets, so I can't really push out. At the same time, I'm going to move my engineer all the way up to the top just for later positioning. He's kind of done his part. He's just kind of expendable at this rate. Just waiting for my ore factory to finish. Keep an eye on my bottom oil derrick just in case he wants to attack that, since he does have an early advantage there right now. Now that my rockets are coming up, I can be a little bit more aggressive again. I don't want to be too aggressive since I only have the one and they're still slowly building, but I can start getting a little bit closer to where I want to be. I'm going to go with the flak first just because I know I did lose the early engagement and I want to see if I can put some pressure on him. Saw that he had a rifle scouting there, so I thought maybe he's coming from the back. And I see he's coming from the front. That's okay. I'm just going to pull those 2 rifles back. No reason to lose them. That was overwhelming numbers for those 2 rifles to handle. With my flak out now, I can start to push that army, see if I can, whittle it down. He might have a light tank or a ranger, but that's okay because I got rockets coming, so I should be fine there. Push in and I see his ranger, so I'm just going to target my flak to kill it. Unfortunately, it gets away, and I lose some rifles because they start crawling forward. That's fine. I'm just going to retreat. He still had the ranger, so I wouldn't be able to take that. I don't think. I think he had better positioning just with the defender's advantage. Finding some lone scouts over there, which is good. I'll just kill them, and then just retreat back to my base for now. So you can already see that I'm kind of going to start stalling here in a second, even though I have 4 harvesters out, just because that bottom ore patch is already mined out. I have to quickly already transform ecos, which is just going to slow it down that much more. See, I'm stalling, getting my second barrack out. I can't even really start infantry production now because I'm just going to stall again. My 5th harvester comes out, and unfortunately, due to where it came out, it's going to go all the way up to the top and rally point. It's going to harvest, and it's going to come down to that bottom ref. And I don't know if it's a bug in the game or if it's just something that it is intentional. It's actually really annoying. So if you have a cross rally point like that, you need to be very careful to manually target that harvester to go up to the correct refinery. As you can see, it went all the way back down, and I think it's going to go all the way back up too. So that's just slowly draining my macro timing. Once again, I'm moving out my main MCV. That's just because it's super easy to crawl forward. It's going to let me, win back some of that early losses that I had with that early heavy tank too. Now that I'm in CV's position, I'm going to just slowly crawl to that ore patch, get everything ready. Looking at my harvesters and realizing that they're straight down there again, I'm kind of very confused why that happened. I realized, oh yeah, that's right, I never set it to go to that northern refinery. That's okay. Once this refinery comes out, I'll just send that extra harvester down to that double patch, and I'll be mining a little bit more efficiently that way. With my heavy tank out, I can start pushing out. I'm going to use my flak to screen from the bottom, just in case he's there, which is good because I saw a light tank. Now I'm just going to try to get this MCV or this heavy tank in a little bit better position. Unfortunately, my tank kind of got caught, and so if I did engage in this, it did have an army there. I'd kind of be in bad position, but it actually turns out okay because his army was coming from the back. So I'm just going to attack move into it, and I got pretty decent engagement here. He doesn't really have any armor, so I'm able to clean up a lot of his army early. I didn't want the flak to go in, so I pulled it back just so I could keep its vision. It's taking a little bit on the right side. And I just stopped moving my army once all my armor dies. And he moves in with his medium tank, but I managed to kill it. And that pretty much trades evenly. I don't think I traded too well. I don't think he traded too well. It just kind of was a wash there. But that's okay. Got my second MCV out. Was a little late on moving it. That's because I was involved in that engagement. That's fine. So I'm just going to take it towards the middle now. And once again, I don't know why my harvesters all decided to hop up over there. It's kind of weird. Something I really want to kind of fix in the next balance iteration is kind of lowering their scan radius. So it's super annoying on the maps. They do it all the time. And it's just like one of those things that's like not really fun to have to deal with. Like it's not like, managing your army or forming a concave. It's just like an annoying little behavior of ours. I'm going to keep that flak in the bottom just in case he's doing like Mint did to me and having a early flank over there. And I see him trying to kill my oil derrick. Gotta wait for my heavy tank to get in front. That's okay, he's going to kill my oil derrick in a second. I'll probably do the same to him. But I see he's retreating, and I'm just going to go ahead and kill that medium tank, which is fine. Any tanks I can kill as allies are good, because they're going to have an early advantage for me. So now I'm going to go up and kill his oil derrick since he killed mine. That's just going to even things out a little bit. And as you can see before, like I did with Mint, I'm just kind of building a lot of refineries first and then trying to go into a double war factory, just because I think, if you can control this middle, it's a little bit easier for you in the long run, and the more heavy tanks and armor you have, the more you're going to be able to control the middle. So this is a pretty big engagement from him. I have a decent position. I've used a stop command, and now I'm attack moving again once my tanks were in position. Unfortunately for him, his infantry corps was kind of on the outskirts, and his tanks were not in the best position. They weren't in the worst, it was just I had a bigger concave. So I took a pretty good engagement there. Definitely think I'm ahead now. Just scouting with the flak again to make sure there's nothing else coming. I managed to kill off one of his rifle scouts, which is fine. And now I'm just gonna use this army that now that I have the advantage there, just to kind of poke to see if he's not in the north anymore. Kill off some scouts, which is always good. That means, you know, he has an idea that I'm coming there, but he doesn't know exactly where it's going to go. He has the likely idea, but there's always a chance that I just retreat and then he pulls himself out of position looking for that army. So see that he's not quick expanding to this corner, which is fine. I'm just going to rally everything over to there, make sure my tanks are in the front. Again, scouting with my flak to make sure he's not flanking me on the bottom. I killed another rifle scout and I decided, you know what, I better just push back because he's definitely going to be expecting me to keep pushing in there. I'm actually going to go base push here in a second. I'm just waiting for my heavy tanks to get in a little bit better position. Now they got 2 war factories out, I'm going to be producing tanks at the same rate as his medium tanks. And so heavy tanks are a little bit better in that respect. So if I can have, you know, a heavy tank at the same time, he can have 1 medium tank, then that's going to be a really good advantage on my end. So I'm going to start base pushing now that I have a pretty big army and I'm feeling comfortable I can take the middle. I see that he has tier 2 already, which is fine. And then I start to see the artillery shells going, so I'm going to try to engage into it and try to, you know, just outpace these artillery shells since you can kind of get by them. Unfortunately, I'm finding that he's got some really good shots. All 3 of those shells landed pretty well. And I see he has another army in the north, so I'm just kind of buying my time for this army in the south to actually do all the damage. I'm going to kill his war factory because I'm hoping that if I kill that, I can shut down his artillery production. I'm going to kill the SD too, so he's not going to be able to build tanks or heavy armor for a while now. And as you can see, I'm kind of stutter stepping this army because I know it's going to die. I'm just trying to do as much damage as I possibly can with it. I've got, you know, the army coming back here to reinforce the middle, so it should be okay. Moving the tanks up to the front to give my infantry the last few seconds they can to get some better engagements. And then I'm just going to keep base pushing slowly but surely. See if I can kill out his radar dome so you can't build like Blackhawks and stuff like that anymore. A little light on rockets, unfortunately, and he snipes all the way, but that's okay. I'll just use that army to kill the radar dome. I see another artillery shell, and he's still got that big army now, so I gotta retreat and kind of just wait. He doesn't move his MCV, which is kind of a mistake on his part. He did not need to lose that MCV, and I think if he hadn't, it might have made things a little different. He tries to retreat it, but I have the flak there, so that flak's going to get good value, and even killing the husk just to make sure. He has a pretty big engagement here, but I've got a decent concave, and his infantry's kind of all left out in the bottom there. So I'm going to be able to sweep in with a much better angle of attack there. I mean, he has the Blackhawks, but they're going down to my rockets, and he's just slowly but surely getting pushed back. He's got another artillery that was hammering away, but he just decided to retreat it, which I think is the correct idea because he knew I was pushing forward. And now his radar's going to go down, target fire at the Blackhawk, and it goes down, which is nice. And I'm kind of floating like 6k, 7k right now, which is fine. I finally noticed that he's killing a harvester in the back, but like I still have a really gigantic float, so I'm okay. Still going to lose that harvester, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm more focused on him in the middle than I am on 1 tank in the flank. And I'm still constantly building refinery, so you know it's not going to hurt as much as it should. Positioning my flags up to the top because you don't want them with your army when you're going to push, because you don't want them to accidentally get attack move. You want to be able to hunt down stuff. As you can see here, I try to use them to hunt down the artillery, but they managed to die first because they had a lot of stuff there, but that's okay. I killed the Blackhawk, killed the artillery, and I'm pushing in now. I've got more than enough to deal with that, and I've got some rockets in the back to hunt down that last medium tank if it decided to flank up north. So that he has light tanks built, so his war factory's back out, but like he just doesn't have a whole lot of steam left right now. He's probably dead in the water on eco-wise, and he manages to call out GG there. So that game went pretty much as again how I wanted it to. Get my eco established, keep building refs so the eco harass isn't that great, and then just control the middle once I have the army advantage and then push through. It was very risky the way that I sacked my whole army for his war factory and SD, and a few harvesters on the bottom. I think if he had a better engagement in the middle and his infantry corps wasn't so left out on the bottom, he might have been able to push me back and even himself out in that game a little bit. But even if he did, I don't think I would have lost the MCV there, and I would have just gone to the bottom corner or something like that and reestablished my eco there. And you know, I had the double war factor presence and you know enough infantry production that I probably would have just edged him out. This was like the second time I noticed that he went tier 2 rather quickly, and that kind of cued on my mind to start adjusting my game plan towards that, since you know tech does beat like really quick aggression with just tier 1.5, especially if like you have really good arty shots like that. So going forward, I had to keep in mind that he's probably going to go quicker tech, and I need to make that transition as well. So with that said, let's get into game 5.